In this age of fast-paced technological change, tackling your printed and digital output isn't always top of the IT agenda. But, argues Gareth Watts of LRS, re-examining your output can play a valuable role in freeing up resources to do more business innovation. We caught up with him to find out why the IT department needs to take a more joined-up approach to output management.
Most of their resources are occupied just keeping the lights on, keeping the business running. So they want to free up resource from doing that so they can spend it on that innovation and the technological change. So to do that, they're looking to standardise, they're looking to simplify, they're looking to centralise. They've done that in a lot of areas. If you look at things like security and consolidating, say, data storage into the data centre and using cloud technologies, and they're pulling resources in from their branch locations into the centre and standardising on certain technologies and approaches. But one area that gets overlooked in that is the whole area of document output, and printed output is a big part of that, but also the electronic output.
The challenge is that many firms are still looking at their output management in isolation rather than as part of a wider strategy. Multiple tools, multiple vendors and multiple processes means duplication of effort, as well as greater complexity.
The more complex something is, the more likely it is to go wrong. The more difficult it is to change, the more likely it is there's going to be a security breach. Simplify it, reduce your cost, reduce your risk. Most large organizations today have already put a managed print service in place that addresses at least their office printing output, the sort of printing that they do from the desktop with office products. And absolutely that's a good thing to do, and if companies haven't done it, they should do it, because they typically will reduce the number of print devices that they have, moving to much more efficient devices where the cost to print a page is going to fall dramatically compared with having lots of small desktop printers around. But most large organizations have, and they've seen typically between 20 and 30% reduction in the cost of just putting toner onto pages as a result, and the associated maintenance costs. Most of those companies are now coming back for their second or third bite of that cherry though, and they'd like to see that 20-30% again. But once you've seen it once, it's gone. You can't see that again. So where's the next set of cost savings coming from? Look at the wider organization. What else are you printing? What other printers do you have? Are there other applications that are already sending output to those same devices? There's the infrastructure that supports it. There's all of those print servers. There's maybe customized hardware that is inserted in a printer for it to accept certain characters. There's just the people involved in updating those print servers, implementing and managing printer drivers. There's all sorts of areas where you can go beyond the simple cost of putting toner on a page to bring about cost reductions.
So where do firms need to improve in order to realise those cost benefits, as well as drive innovation and help reduce risk?
We're still seeing a lot of organisations who tend to drive the whole acquisition of managed print services as a procurement exercise. It's still very commoditized in certain companies, and it's treated as, let's go and find who can provide the cheapest printers and the cheapest price per click for putting toner on a page, rather than being seen as an enabler for innovation. You might have one service provider for managing your desktop, you might have another for managing your managed print service, and you might have another for managing your data center, and typically these three aren't talking to each other. Bringing those together to have a joint up approach across those three service providers is something that businesses can do to bring about significant improvements in efficiency in the way that they run their business.
As much as anything, it's about revisiting your existing approach. So what questions should organisations be asking of their current providers?
They should be asking in terms of, what more can you be doing for us outside of the basic managed print services of providing me printers, providing toner replenishment, break-fix maintenance, and putting toner on the page. Where else in my organization can you help me? Where can you help me redirect print to digital output, for example? Where can you help me to remove infrastructure from my business? How can you help support my IT standardization initiatives? How can you support my IT security initiatives? But there is a challenge. There is a challenge with that, because That's not the core business for the managed print service providers. Their core business is making printers and consumables that go in those printers, and they own factories that do that, and they must keep those factories busy. But their core business is not looking at how can you consolidate IT infrastructure, how can you move on a digitalization program to improve customer-facing documents. It's not really what their expertise is. And that's why you need to find companies who operate more in that field, who understand both sides of the fence.